Emmerdale spoilers reveal what happens next to Bear after confession, and it's bad news. Emmerdale's Bear Wolf could be facing a surprising prison release, according to soap enthusiasts. Bear, Joshua Richards, has endured a harrowing 12 months on the ITV program. Last year, he departed the village under the pretense of visiting old acquaintances in Ireland. However, following weeks without any word from him, son Paddy, Dominic Brunt, grew increasingly concerned as there had been no communication with his father since his departure. It was ultimately disclosed to audiences that Bear was being forced to work as a slave on a farm, operated by villainous drug lord Celia Daniels, Jay Griffiths, and on Ray Walters' Joe Absalom. Nevertheless, Ray and Celia's criminal activities and their ruthless, exploitative enterprise were eventually uncovered, but Ray ended up murdering Celia in a bid to eliminate her from his life permanently, reports the Daily Star. Ray was subsequently killed when Bear, who at that point audiences believed had perished, appeared to defend Paddy and restrained Ray in a chokehold before he collapsed to the ground lifeless. Since then, Paddy has been doing everything possible to shield Bear from the authorities and prevent his imprisonment. However, in Friday's dramatic episode, February 13th, circumstances took an unexpected turn. During the installment, a distressed Bear received a visit from a counselor, but despite attempting to conceal his secret throughout the consultation, Bear ultimately broke down and admitted to killing Ray. Later, Paddy was devastated to see DS Walsh, Amanda Ryan, leading Bear away in handcuffs to the police car, having learned that Bear had confessed about Ray. Paddy rushed over to the vehicle, reassuring his father that everything would be okay, before the car drove away. Now, viewers are speculating that Bear is heading for a prison exit, with one individual posting on an Emmerdale Facebook fan page. "I was wondering with Bear confessing if this means he will be leaving?" Another person commented, "I think so, be so sad to get rid of him." A third joined in, "Same here, another very emotional episode." Moreover, spoilers for the upcoming week have confirmed that during his police interview, Bear admits to DS Walsh that he murdered Ray. Walsh gently interrogates a bewildered Bear, who struggles to remember specifics about Ray's death, but maintains that he was alone and it was an accident. Marlon dashes into the station to console Paddy, who blames himself for the predicament. Back in the interview room, DS Walsh grills Bear about his slip-up, but he insists that he acted alone. An agitated Bear asserts he was the sole participant in Ray's demise. Back at home, Paddy is inconsolable and breaks down, fearing that he, Bear, and Dylan could end up behind bars. Marlon encourages him to cling to the hope that Bear's actions will be seen as self-defense and he will be freed. The following day, a bewildered Bear faces questions about his conflicting accounts, with Paddy constantly interjecting to back up Bear's version of events, prompting DS Walsh to wonder whether Paddy had a hand in the killing. Paddy starts to become anxious when DS Walsh struggles to accept that Bear relocated Ray's body single-handedly. Paddy's worry intensifies when DC Chin turns up and asks that both he and Dylan attend interviews at the station the next morning. Bear faces a manslaughter charge and Bear's legal representative attempts to comfort Paddy, pointing out that Bear was acting in self-defense. Paddy feels somewhat hopeful that Bear might secure bail. Yet, when they attempt to persuade him to consider his plea strategically, vulnerable Bear remains adamant about pleading guilty and doing the honorable thing.